beating, the county grand jury signaled that will be the extent of the criminal case. 17 other so-called police bystanders at the beating scene will not be indicted, a development noted with frustration.
On March 3, 1991, Rodney King and two of his friends that were with him were stopped by 4 police officers after a high-speed chase on I-210. After King resisted to lay flat on the ground, he claimed that he was afraid of white officers and that he was trying to defend himself. One of the officers tased him twice, and then 2 officers beat him repeatedly with batons. Racial slurs were yelled at Rodney King as the officers were beating him nearly to death. The officers were accusing Rodney King of having the advantage to attack because they assumed he had taken PCP, also known as angel dust. George Holliday was awakened by the police helicopter and high sirens. He ran to grab his VHS camera and to record the incident. He later turned it into multiple news channels where they released the footage worldwide.
Rodney King was born April 2, 1965 in Sacramento, California. When Rodney King was a teenager, he dropped out of John Muir High School after having a baby girl with his girlfriend Carmen Simpson. He later married Danetta Lyles and had a daughter. He eventually divorced Danetta and married Crystal Waters and also had a daughter. This marriage also ended in divorce. The 2 daughters from the marriages are Laura Dean King, known for writing and filming Latasha Harlan's documentary, and Lori King. On November 3, 1989, Rodney King, 24, robbed a store while threatening the store owner with an iron bar. He stole $200 cash and was caught and convicted with 2 years imprisonment. King was released a year later on December 27, 1990. Rodney King was known as a victim of police brutality in 1991, becoming an American symbol of police brutality and injustice. On June 17, 2012, Rodney King passed away from a drowning incident in his pool. His legacy still lives on to this day.
Previous racial violence in Los Angeles between different races was a major issue even before Rodney King's beating. On March 13, 1991, Latasha Harlan's 15-year-old was shot and killed in a liquor store after having an altercation with the Korean store owner over a bottle of orange juice. Latasha put the bottle in her backpack and went to go pay. When soon, Jadun accused her of stealing. As Latasha went to go pay, Dune went to go grab her sweater, and Latasha punched her in the face. As Latasha went to leave, Dune shot her in the head. Dune was sentenced for 16 years in jail, along with $500 fines and 400 hours of community service.
Make it better? What would make all the rioting stop?
I don't think it'll ever stop, really.
Never.
I mean, it may not be like this, but it'll never stop. I don't think.
After Holliday grabbed his VHS camera and videotaped the beatings of Rodney King, Holliday didn't know what to do with the video recording. Holliday went to a local TV station, KTLA. KTLA edited that 9-minute video down to a 44-second clip and aired it that same night. The shocking video captured by Holliday caused outrage throughout Los Angeles. With the subject being so heavily represented in the media, many people followed and listened carefully for any new information that they could get. And on April 29, 1992, the 4 white police officers that had savagely beaten Rodney King were found not guilty. The outrage began again. Angry citizens, the disenfranchised, and even opportunists took to the street of LA. They looted, vandalized, and set fires for 6 days straight. The riots caused harm to the environment, the economy, and many people, with more than 50 riot-related deaths recorded and 2,000 injuries, and with almost $1 billion in damages. Many lost businesses, family, lovers, and friends during these riots.
I am here with.
Stacy Kuhn.
What is your rank?
I'm a sergeant.
What happened on that day, March 3rd?
Rodney King and 2 of his friends stopped by 4 police officers after a high-speed chase on I-210. After King resisted to lay down flat on the ground, and he claimed that he was afraid of white police officers, and he was trying to defend himself. one of the officers tased him twice, and then the two other officers beat him repeatedly with batons.
What were you convicted for after the encounter of Rodney King?
Willing, permitting, and failing to stop on unlawful assault.
Do you regret your actions on March 3rd?
I have no regrets.
Why is that?
Police must sometimes use force. The prohibited chokehold must be replaced with other means of subduing suspects who resist arrest. I think community police is a nice thing if it's workable. The new chief is nice, but nothing has been done to address the use of force. The policeman has no more tools today than he had a year ago.
So you're saying it was a justified beating on Mr. King?
I would say I didn't do anything wrong. I acted in good faith.
This was Stacy Kuhn with the LAPD after the incident of the beating of Rodney King.
A lot has changed since the Rodney King beating, and a lot has stayed the same. For example, the police have been given live body cams. This could help change and can prove what truly happened during police events. Like, for example, George Floyd's case, the police officers had body cams, and this helped see what truly happened during the arrest. Therefore, if Rodney King's beating never happened, then we probably would have not had the idea to use body cams for police officers. And not as many cases of police brutality would have been shown to the public. The police brutality has stayed the same. For example, the George Floyd case, the police officers was caught kneeling on George Floyd, and this proves that the police still haven't changed their form of control. Does this make you think the police should change their form of control?